phoning 4 times to Garby. He was asleep on our journey back. She said to phone later, but then she said he's in a bad mood and not to speak to him. He's got to play with his toys. Hi, Kende, how are you? I'm not sure, have I ever filmed you before?
Est-ce que tu peux éteindre ça, s'il te plaît?
Can I do what, sorry?
Éteindre ça.
Okay, I'll switch it off. Feels quite conscious. What else? So, this is this lovely villa I got to a week ago. Tracy Citron's staying in here, but she's not here right now. She wants to see them talking Italian. She's got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in Italian. That's my bike, the white one there. And then her one in the middle, and then another one belonging to her artist friend Antonio on the other side. So mine's hired from Bicicletti Bendini, founded 1945. The company, that is, not the bike. Yeah, so a book I'm reading it forwarded on to my colleague Robin Kearns. I didn't like her ever much. She was younger than me, but rather older. She's actually come to Milan with her boyfriend. Actually. So some which we're not using. Well, she's using them a bit. She plans so much. And Carfax leaflet. Distributed some, but we haven't got any lights. But anyway, I'm glad because I wouldn't get paid any extra if I was working anything up to 4 hours a week. I would after that, but it'd be such a low rate. Here this stuff. It's just lovely. I could film upstairs sometime. I could have a much bigger bedroom upstairs, but so fucking shattered when I got here. Overnight train journey, I had to stay here. I've got 3 lessons next week. That's my timetable. Okay, so I'll switch it up for a bit. We're in the beach of July, and that's the railway station of Pisa Central. It's a Monday, so here we are. It was Kende's idea to come here, and as you can see, it's a delightful city. All these well-crafted buildings. They're very typical for northern Italy. I mean, look how clean it is. Compare that to Naples a few days ago. She's just gone in there. She doesn't want to be filmed. So yeah, we caught the choo-choo train here. When she first arrived, I didn't meet her because I had a lesson the next morning, and there was nowhere to get back from here to there by 9. So yeah, we're going to Campo negli Mervegli, or is it Miracoli? I can't remember. The field of miracles. Fabulous. I was just teaching that boy today. What's his name? Well, we're not far from the sea. That's the River Arno, and I think Florence is that direction, and the river flows from there, or flows from the Apennines here through Pisa. We just come off that seat, off that street. Oh, so bank of the Arno, Galileo Galilei was from around here. People always forget his surname, Galilei. So yeah, I was last here in February, that grim February, escaping from Amber for the half term. You know, on the continent for a bit. I didn't have a video camera at that stage, well, not one that was working anyway. And I flew here to Pisa and had a gorgeous time in it for about 3 or 4 days, having to go back to Buckingham to do that course, of which I ultimately dropped out. Easter, what is that? Easter Mountains of Siena. Well, I obviously can't translate that. I'd really like to go to Siena. My Lonely Planet book said, don't miss Siena. And it's got Il Palio, that's race around the main square. So, it's so pretty. Again, it's really isn't too bad. But explain to the British School of Pisa. Maybe they really mean so yeah, I could do with the odd repair. I like the way they kept the cobblestone, and there are quite a few touristicos around. It's like Rome on a more human scale. So we want to go roughly over in that direction. I looked at the map. I mean, I can recall this river passing over it. Well, here 5 years ago. Now, with Kane was going to get down onto these paths by the river. It looks like you can actually way up there, for example. Reminds me of Rome, where these riverside paths have bars on them. Operate at night. But I think it must flood sometimes because the driest time of year. Already the river level is quite close to the park. Very nice. It's just fine. Okay. Here we are in Pisa at the famous field. Now, I first came here when I was 6, back again when I was 26. I went when I was 6 and when I was 26. There's the back behind. I'll go into that. I remember meeting some Danish tourists here. It was just after the Jyllands Post had published those cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. And yeah, and I was speaking to him about him. Yeah? That's my opinion about the hat. Je sais rien de la mode. Anyway, my mum was doing that for twice already. And my mum's saying, oh, well, it wasn't amazing that it leant over like this and didn't fall. And in the old days, they're so good at building things without much machinery or proper measuring equipment. I can't remember the angle of the lean. And it is a gorgeous tower in its own right, but obviously the fact that it's sloped over like that makes it all the more famous. Best thing about Pisa. And quite apart from that, it's gorgeous. What else was I going to say about it? Yeah, Toby Fountain's been here. You think the field miracles, and they don't allow the street traders in, just beyond that. Look, they're the old medieval city walls. And Kane there was commenting on this statue of Romulus and Remus. Saying, why do they have it here? And I suppose it's to stress their heritage. I think, what does it say down there? I can't read that. Regnando. Vit. Ah, okay. In the reign of Victor Emmanuel III. Okay. So I suppose it was just a modern copy rather than an ancient thing they found and put up. Just from the reign of Victor Emmanuel III, as in sometime in about 1900 and 1946. Okay, this is the back street if I remember rightly. I had to go in where there's a massive queue. And you were saying how you couldn't see people going up, but I think that they're inside, if I remember rightly. That February day it wasn't too crowded. And it was just the right temperature, like 15 degrees or something. Sitting on the steps over there, that's where I spoke to the Danes. The youth hostel in that direction. I'd escaped from the clutches of Paul Con Air and Rachel Wrinkle-Faced Fletcher. So the best thing ever happened to people was this tower. My word, it's crowded, and I think this is with a slow economy. I shudder to think what it's like if there's a booming one. I remember eating in a restaurant over at that direction. So I was 6, so many things so young, too young to appreciate it. My for my baby taking place is a bit older because about it when that little. But you know, my parents hadn't seen these things themselves in their 30s. Wow, look at the bear and the dragon and the ram. Ah, and they've got little gargoyles there to ward off the evil spirits. But it didn't prevent them from tilting. We've got to watch out for pickpockets. So that's where they're going in. We've noticed Germans, people. What? Are you recording?
Yes.
So it's still the 11th of July, 2000. So here we are. Camera woman key this. Okay, hey, film me with this to my. Very nice. The tower's getting by the side. Okay, I'm enjoying the day. How about you?
Is it a question for me?
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Yes. I should the camera because one thing is there's a sort of microphone here, but they can only catch sound very. That's why, you know, people wear microphones, television, whatever, and they're not good at sort of filtering out background noise. Quite loud to the camera.
Okay.
You're not yourself, is the answer. Check out this baptistry. Anyway, another queue and another charge to get in. That's the queue for the tickets, so we decided not to bother. And check out this super fine detail. Look at all these people they carved in there. One individualist. They don't make him like. And even on this building, another ecclesiastical building thing. Lights all stayed in beyond. We saw this in the choo-choo train. Anyway, what I'm saying. Check out this prelate. Roman Catholic priest. to it, no doubt. I mean, it's marvelous out older than the security guards were chasing off the lawn over there. So fucking packed. Well, a tenth of the number is the cathedral. It is indeed very large. The alcoves. I wonder what it's like. Another splendid monument. So many of them are no longer special. And they forget the whole area is gone. And there's a breeze up. Smells very this day. See, not a dot of cloud in the sky. And one can see the Tuscan hills, the Apennine Alps. July 2011, and here we are, just outside this Field of Miracles area. Everyone films the renowned buildings, but just beyond the renowned buildings, people tend not to film. Yeah, I was wearing my Irish rugger jersey last time I was here, but it was a sort of white and blue stripe on the away strip. Some chap in the cap up for breakfast. Obviously you recognise my nationality from it. Bed and breakfast, well, hey, I like the idea. Ooh. Daniele Marini, Piazza, very nice. There's a Garibaldi Square on the way here. Had a picture of the guy. Okay, switch it off. July 2011, here we are, walking through Pisa, through the ancient walled city. It's strange it's abandoned here. I wonder what this is. There's so much to see that's often overlooked because you go straight to the Field of Miracles and they don't bother examining all these other things. So it's about 5 o'clock in the evening now. Absolutely gorgeous day, rather warm. And we can see the blue hills beyond. It's fabulous. What a scene. The beeping horns spoils it only slightly. Ah, there's the train. Well, not R1, we're going the direction. So they've just got so many ancient ruins that they don't appreciate them. Oh, coming up the river right beside of that. So, these are the tourists don't normally bother seeing. Just back to the railway station. I mean, there's far more to see than people. But all the things, you all had to pay a key to get into all of them, so they didn't bother. Okay, I'll switch it. They know what to do with. They won't even open them up. But unless they cut the grass, hey? I wonder what it was. And I suppose there's all explosions then, all these little holes there. The Second World War, the Allies fighting their way up the prickly spine of Italy. Check this out. I was reading this. I can't understand it. It was all this memorial stone of the innocent fallen ones from the 1943-44 under the power, the dark power, black power of bombs wished by the, today their resistance against the slaughter. Warning to the old and of war. So don't do it, warmongers. August, surely they the king for the commemoration. But the anti-fascists are often communists, so just as bad themselves, but all sorts of join, like conservatives, liberals, socialists, and so on. Because he voted against Mussolini at the end, so his hand-picked supporters turned against him, so it must have been an absolute failure. And a small percentage of Italians with him, I'm estimating like sort of percent supported him to the end. So it kind of figures now about the going, the sort of the thoughts Italia. But some people say that stands for Mussolini Immortale. So a more average area of town, personality still. So lucky to live across ancient ruins, but they don't seem to appreciate over much of art. These two bicycles. It's the 15th of July, 2011. These two bikes belong to Antonio Barbieri, an artist who lives around here. He's a friend of Tracy Citron, my housemate and colleague. This bloke standing in his hands. Yes, there's the balcony. That's Tracy's bedroom, and that one is what's her name's bedroom? Bloody hell, Daria. That's her name. Daria, known as Dasha. Okay, so I've never been into the garden shed. Oh, well, there's a key in it. I suppose I could. Anyway, my clothes drying over there near my bedroom. This is my bicycle, hired from Cicli Bendini since 1945. I didn't hire it in 1945, but the business has been extant since then. There's Daria. Not sure if she wants to be filmed. So I park it here because this is permanently in the shade, so don't roast my precious buns on the saddle. There is the little gate and a marble factory beyond. Not that you make marble, but they cut it and sell it from there, accordingly. You can see this massive machine moving like some long crane. And look, American flag here. Sometimes they fly a British flag and an Italian flag in the house. They play music behind. Kane was here a little while ago. So I've never seen this door open, but the washing machine is down there. Anyway, it's a fabulous house. It costs 7,000 euros for June, July and August, which apparently is a real bargain. So I came here, arrived about 5 o'clock in the morning one Sunday. I was so bloody tired. I couldn't be asked to take the upstairs bedroom. All these books are in Italian. I'm reading a bit of My Life in Italian by Clinton. I know the title's in English, but the text is in Italian there. My personal bathroom. Wonderful thing about this glass is you can actually see what the person's doing in there. And anyway, so here's my boudoir. Very nice. I could have had a much bigger, more pleasant one upstairs on the balcony, but I just fucking wanted to collapse into bed. I was so tired after this overnight train journey, or I couldn't sleep properly. In an Ivorian chap. Okay, there's our kitchen. I'm still in Italy, maybe you can guess. It's the 15th of July, 2011. I come to Florence again. The railway station is not the most fascinating or attractive building around, but as they go, it's not bad. One of them is Art Deco. But my eye was caught by this, my favourite poet as an adolescent. I should start reading him again. Here in 1819, 1820, in this place, well, it was Via Valfonda. Percy Bysshe Shelley composed the work Prometheus Unbound, an ode to the west wind. Stupendous. So I've got to buy some more stuff from Feltrinelli. Well, actually pick up a CD in behalf of Tracy Citron. I'm often mistakenly calling her Tracy Lemon, as Citron means lemon. Her ancestors came from Lithuania, like her great-great-grandparents. And her parents ran Matovsky's Antiques in Dublin for many years. She's an Irish Jewess. What else? So she speaks fluent Italian. She used to live here for a time. She did a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in Italian. Fascinating and fun person, but she doesn't want to be filmed. Nor does the other one, what's her name? The Ruski one, Daria, but she's only with us till Sunday. Yeah, so that's about it. I'll wait till I get places a bit more. Still the 15th of July, 2011. Here I am in Florence. So this is some church or other. I think it's the Medici Church. And there are all these stalls along here selling trinkets, often t-shirts, things relating to Tuscany, you know, symbol of a wild boar seems to be the symbol of this region. Oh yeah, I was in Spar over there, meaning save as in save money in German. Nice cheap way to get your lunch. Check this out, this statue. I did read the description. It's in Italian actually, because a lot of them are in Latin. So you can see there are loads of tourists that goes around. It seems they almost always display the European Union flag alongside the Italian flag these days. And they have them. The weather's pretty good. It's not that hot actually. I saw a news item saying it's so hot in Florence these days that putting the tourists off. It's not as packed as when I was here about 10 days ago. So I've seen Japanese tourists, Chinese tourists, German, French, British, American. I think that's about it. So, I bought the CD I needed, and I didn't find a verbal reasoning book for that boy Daniel. So I head more to the centre of town, try and see a few things I haven't seen. In the middle of Florence, on a bridge over the River Arno, and one can see the Tuscan hills beyond. The source of the Arno must be somewhere up there. It seems actually quite a small city from here. It doesn't go very far in that direction. So this is the south bank of it I'm looking at now. And I've never been this far up the river before. And there's their famous old bridge. It was going to be destroyed in the Second World War. I was reading a memorial when I was here last time, and a German bloke who'd been a German diplomat here before the Second World War was here at the time and persuaded the German military not to destroy it. Obviously it would have been a great loss of the city's heritage if they had. So there's something worth seeing on this side, and indeed on the south side, like there's some English cemetery up on White Cat. Hey, wow, look at that tower. That's the Uffizi Gallery. I was in there in 2006, February. What else? I remember this little fruit shop over here, which I might visit again. I mean, further away from the city centre, it becomes rather bland, just like any other Italian city. It's just got blocks of flats and things like that. Very unremarkable, but I think never horrible. So there's a cooling breeze up, which is very agreeable. I'm in this pleasant little garden on the north bank of the Arno. Still the 15th of July, and I was looking around. What did I happen to see but the Lutheran church? It's rather small, there can't be many of them. I was thinking, would it have been vandalised after the Second World War, because people obviously associate it with Germany. So like a strong castle is our god, or a strong city I suppose. And they have service in Italian as well, and the Swiss Reformed Church meets here. The German evangelical community, founded in 1899 it says. But it's slightly dilapidated, very un-German that actually. But many things in the centre of Italian cities are a tad on the shabby side. And lots of African people here, often selling things on the streets. Big cars around, but many small. So that's that old bridge again. I'm on Holy Trinity Bridge. Something very soothing about looking out onto the water. The river near where we live in Forte dei Marmi is almost dry. And people were even sleeping out on the watercourse, it seemed to me. So just been walking in these narrow streets behind. I remember my mum saying that in southern Europe they always have streets like that with the buildings built high and the streets narrow so that they're always shaded, as it's so sunny here. Seen some of the policemen wear these white helmets, almost like British style police helmets in shape. I found them quaint. Anyway, it's that way to Pisa and beyond to the sea. So this is Florence, capital of a republic, one time powerful and famous. I was just thinking, is that the Norwegian flag I see flying there from that cafe? Not quite fill it out. Odd to find it here. I thought this was a cafe, but in fact it's not. Anyway, and that is the Norwegian consulate. So that explains it. And as I was walking along, I saw the British consulate there. And when it builds out again the flag, you'll see the crown on the centre of the Union flag. No, it's not cooperating the wind really, is it? Oh, I think there you got it. So here we are. And it's a very warm day. But as I say, the cooling breeze makes it just right. In squares of Florence, I don't know what it's called, the square. Look at yon tower, high above. So there's some insurance company over there. Isn't it a shame something so utterly dull should be allowed to occupy such wonderful space? And here, look, from 1895, I'm reading the date correctly. Probably what it says there, I'm seeing The old centre of the city, for centuries in squalor, restored to new life. But I got that wrong. Hey, like the old style bicycle, but it'd be a bit impractical on hills. Yeah, why do they have these massive mud guards in it? Because there's almost no mud. Ah, so the pigeons are coming from Trafalgar Square. I remember being very little in Venice and seeing lots of pigeons and so on, and they're in the wrong place, and people used to feed them in St. Mark's Square. Maybe even reading tales of St. Francis of Assisi. Probably my mum telling me, ooh, there's a dog fight, quite literally. Can't see this trio of people. I shan't call them a threesome. Anyway, and I think to the pigeons, go to St. Mark's Square, because Piazza San Marco is where people. Okay, still 15th of July 2011. Look at this fairly plain building by the standard of the place, but I just noticed this plaque, you know, saying that in this sort of lodging house, or Black Eagle, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I don't get the Quattro Ticini, some sort of number. Okay, he stayed here in the spring of 1770. The first was 3 trips to Italy, where he entertained the city of Florence with his music genius. He has these little side streets that in some ways more storied and more scintillating for me than the big streets like the Baptistry down the street. I mean, some women begging off me, you know, coming up to me, showing me these little cards in English and saying they're poor with 2 or 3 children and they had a house speaking English and stuff like that. I don't give them a penny. Oh look, Jesus there in the corner. Very continental that. But anyway, I would bet my bottom dollar they're Romanian gypsies. I've been talking to the Romanians sometimes. Well, their response, Feltrinelli, we use again. It's all over Italy, but that's the particular branch, the international branch, is a little further away. Oh my God. People like her I do feel a bit sorry for. Then again, maybe she's not even old. Maybe that's she's hiding her face. I don't fit the right demographic profile to make it as a successful beggar. We're reading in London Light that some beggars in London are making £100 a day. I thought £36,000 a year, tax-free. That's better than a kick in the gonads. Anyway, I'm waiting for the Gucci station. There's more I could say. I just didn't like it. I remember, you know, last autumn when I was in Rome, I had so much energy. It was all over the city, seeing everything I could. But here, it's not quite the same. Partly I have to pay for the notes to go through everything, and their big queues, like the queue to get into the dome of the cupola of the Cathedral. You've seen it, so forget it. I hate waiting. An F when I get into focus. Oh well, but it should be an E. It's meant to be aerea, as in air. Okay, so where we are. Where are we? Sorry, we're in Forte dei Marmi, meaning Forts of Marble, here in Tuscany. That's the region and it's the district of Versilia. Here I am in the main square, and that well is permanently shut. This is the cafe I go to, as it's the most affordable one in this very expensive town. This is where the posh people from Milan and Bologna come to hang out. Okay, here's my bike from Cicli Bendini. Have I filmed it before? The feeling I have. It's a family business founded in 1945. Still a father and son work there. Look at these heads, look like balloon shape and the colours of the Italian flag. Okay, so a little bit something about how this was built. And I've been into both the galleries. There's one here at the front and there's one at the back, which is political satire about Russia. This top one is not open. The political satirist in his cartoons, he seems to be sort of ridiculing the rule of the oligarchs, this Soviet nostalgia and so on, and saying how it's really oil controls the United States and Medvedev is really in the pocket of Vladimir Putin and so on. Very nice. So the tourist office is there where I park my bike, and I use the internet there thrice daily. I can use it for 15 minutes for free if somebody's waiting. However, if nobody's waiting, then I can just carry on as long as I like it. So they're very pleasant to me, all these people in the tourist office. I'm sure they like me and they let me print stuff for free. I thought they might be pissed off with me, but maybe they're just glad to have a customer. Sometimes I've even got 3 of them in there occasionally. There's Olga there, who's half Russian, half Italian, but she's got this most fuckwit hairstyle, shaved up one side of her head and really long hair on the other. She's 18, oh well, the errors of youth. So it was a fort originally, built by Duke Leopold, who was Duke of Tuscany. I think he later became Emperor of Austria, but this is one of his Italian possessions at the time. So here's an advert for the satire exhibition, and then it says in Cyrillic, Satira Vorosia. And here's Putin as a puppet master, controlling all the ordinary people, and a little bear in there. And one of the other jokes was about the ordinary much put upon man carrying a nuclear missile, all the generals riding on it. So the sea is right down there. Fabulous. And there are many shops selling the expensive labels, like Prada's over there, but unfortunately this sort of a newsagent is obscuring it. You see the Prada signs behind. So it's a fabulous town. You can see the mountains behind. There are lots of marble quarries and there are workshops where they turn out pieces of marble. There were rails here a long time ago and horse-drawn carts to go right down from here to the pier and load the marble onto ships there. I remember reading about Emperor Bokassa of the Central African Empire. No, I think it was Omar El Hajj Bongo of Gabon, and him ordering marble from Italy because he had plenty of marble in his own country, but his own marble quarries couldn't guarantee the delivery date. And I was wondering, is this where he got it from this town here? Ooh, she's off the computer, so I shall go in. Think of sending a postcard to Udid from there. Right, 2011. And so here I am filming in Forte. Again, I was filming a little early this morning. So that's towards the main square in the fort. You can get around by bicycle here, which is very practical. This is very flat. And those are the mountains beyond. Some clouds sitting on them as there usually is. But as you can see, it's a very bright day. Sometimes you have not a speck of cloud in the sky. And we go all the way along here to get to the free beach, or there's a communal beach, and to pay 14 euros a day, but that can be between two people. I love all the palm trees. It delights me. Almost surprised me the palm trees here, but of course they have them in Naples as well. And they have them in the south of France. Oh look, this square is dedicated to Angelo Navari. I don't know what his military rank was, but he fell heroically on the 10th of July 1943. I guess that was resisting the Allied invasion, but then they didn't invade this far north. So sometimes I bathe in the sea, swim in the sea, and I'm covered in salt water. I can use those, whatever called the showers on the beach, but they're not terribly effective. But of course my wet feet attract a lot of sand. So to get rid of the sand that's adhering to my piggies, I get in here. I have to sort of sit down to immerse myself and dip my head under. And the old boys that hang around here, those chairs, playing chess and chatting late in the day. Seems smoking is compulsory in Italy. They're there, the European Union flag beside the Italian flag. They're always seen together these days. Oh look, red flag, it's dangerous to swim, but people still swim anyway. No one tells you not to swim, and the lifeguards are still out. I think at the free beach there are no lifeguards, but you go at your own peril. I was going a bit too far out the other day, and the lifeguards would tell me to come back in when it was a red flag day. But I was further out than anybody else. I'm daredevil, I assure you I'm not brave. And you often see these West African traders on the beach with loads of Louis Vuitton bags, fakes I'm sure. Wonder how much they cost, because the real ones cost at least €1,000, don't they? If we could buy loads and rent a shop in a reasonably expensive area, so it's credible, and sell them at slightly below the market price for a real Louis Vuitton bag and make a fucking killing. The only thing is, surely people would smell a rat and police would come along and it'd be done for fraud. So a little sales here. Anyway, Kane, when she was here, she was and these guys who come on the beach selling stuff are Senegalese. And it's that way to France. So I don't think I filmed here. I filmed so much of the wedding and so on. And so the beach stretches as far as you can see. And people pay to sit on these umbrellas. And the private beaches, they pay at least 40 euros a day. But it's pretty rough. So here is the pier, which is 252 meters long. I know that because I read the sign. And I love feeling the salt wind on my face. I remember in Naples when I was there, almost 3 weeks ago now, when I got out, kind of the thing that I really liked. You can rent a windsurf. Of course, it's far too complex for me, I can't go windsurfing. You do actually guys surfing, it kind of surprised me. I thought the sea would be too calm, because here we are on the Tyrrhenian Sea, which is part of the Mediterranean Sea. I mean, the Mediterranean itself is enclosed enough. The Tyrrhenian Sea is even more enclosed with, Sardinia, Corsica, Sicily, really breaking flow. water. So they're not soon, they'll come more and more. Then about 1 o'clock, this unofficial siesta begins, and people start going in. It gets a bit too hot for them, and going back. The free beach is up that way, and there's a little river, and there's kind of a marina. Yachts sail up the river. Occasionally see yachts off the coast here. They're mainly Italian tourists, but there are Germans and Russians in significant numbers. So the old French and Belgians, Netherlanders. Very few Americans or Britons. You can see cars from Luxembourg, Spain, where else? The Czech Republic, Poland, Monaco, I think, and that's about it. So I thought it'd be reasonably good for surfing today. So people go diving off up here, and what else? They're guys fishing off the end of the pier. But I thought, you want to make sure you're surfing off the opposite side of the pier so you can get caught with a hook. And look, they've got these red buoys out there. Buoys are telling you what, not to go further up than that or something like that. Am I even getting it in the frame? Oh, there it is. I like hanging onto the rope of the buoy and then lowering myself down to touch the bed. They're not very deep, they're like 3 meters max. So that way is France, and this way is going south. Elba's off the coast of Tuscany, it's in the region of Tuscany. They've got a Tuscan dialect. I mean, some people are even telling me it's a language. I was surprised by how few people could speak English, actually, even those working in the tourist industry. The girls in the tourist office, their English isn't terribly good. They're trying to get me to repeat stuff. I even say in Italian for them sometimes. Oh, look here, there are surfers further out. Keep losing sight of them. I mean, it's difficult through the lens. With the naked eye it's a tad easier, and I'm wearing sunglasses, so then I lift my sunglasses because the colours stand out a bit more, but often they're sort of below the wave, if you see it. The kind of the lip of the wave is obscuring them, they're behind it. So as you can see, almost nobody's in the water. I really don't think it's that dangerous. I'll be happy to swim like this. I mean, because it seems very much high tide is bringing us in, it's not dragging us out. So yeah, anyway, this is where the marble used to be loaded onto the ships. And that's how Forte made its money. So Tuscany is a fairly big region, and it goes kind of halfway across the Italian peninsula, well more than actually, well into the Apennines. Now I saw a surfer here. Wow, so that's about enough of that stuff. Be fun. I wish I could do it. I'd like to have surf lessons, but I'm sure they'd be so damn expensive here. I'm trying to keep myself down to spending €20 a day. I'm often under budget, I was a tiny bit over budget. Just to make sure I bring back plenty of savings to Romania. So I've got no lessons now, because that kid's dad, Mr. Maslov, said he didn't want me teaching Daniel yet anymore. I thought I was getting on great with him. He was kind of overcoming his stutter. Not that I caused him a stutter. This is where people dive off the sea. It is quite deep there. I dived off. You know, I'm a bit hesitant. Thing is, it too fucking shallow. I'm gonna break my. But no, it's fine. I didn't touch the bottom at all. And they often go off here, fishing off here. What I often do is sit under the pier back there and make that my base and go swimming off there so I don't have to pay or anything. The free beach is about 2 miles that way, and even the cheap beaches are far away. The ridiculous one should have to pay. But then you do get, you know, shade all the time under one of those umbrella thingies all day. And this pier was destroyed in the Second World War. It was a wooden one, then they built it. See, that's the thing, is to go under the way. Yeah, you push your head down, press your down because it's so buoyant. These guys are very skillful, you can tell. One thing is they've got small boards. The less skillful you are, the larger board you need. I'm very unskillful, so I need the biggest size there is, a Maui. Still the 18th of July 2011 here at Porto de Marmi. Those are the little fountains towards the pier, filming it from the opposite direction. One of the restaurants they have there. And there's a list of hotels. I'm not going to zoom right into it. But anyway, it'll tell you the stars of them. And some of them will say aperto tutto l'anno, as in open all year, because most of them closed down. This is a resort town. Most of them only open for 3 months a year or so. And the Grand Hotel Imperial over there is one where lots of the rich Ruski stay, but often they rent houses. The Maslov family have been coming here for about 5 years. Anyway, this is a memorial to workers of the sea, as it says, and look, they've got a cannon here and all sorts of cogs and I can't remember think what else to call them attached to it. And I was thinking, are those fakes? I reckon they're actually real, but I don't know what they've covered them in and how they've selded them together. And look, on this block of marble, here they have a train extracting marble from the mine, or taking it down on a sled, or pulling it by oxen on this cart down to the pier where they ship it off. It doesn't look like it with its cloudy sky, but I assure you it is. We're in the fair city of Siena. So I just got here, I don't know, about half an hour ago, and it's on a big hill, so there's a bus up from the railway station. The main railway station is quite far away from the city centre, because I suppose, you know, they couldn't build railways up steep hills in the old days and they're putting in the line. Okay, look, there's the Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture. I'm not artigiana how to translate that, but it's not artistry, artisanship, something like that. So here I am in one of the squares. There are lots of touristicos around, as you can see. The train is absolutely bloody packed, and I've realised I picked a bad day to come because there's a transport strike. The transport's not completely shut down. If you look down the street, you see these two priests in white, and they're Americans. I heard them as they walked past me a few minutes ago. Anyway, so here I'm on Piazza Giacomo Matteotti. Matteotti was a socialist leader who was abducted and murdered by some fascists in 1926, if I remember rightly. Mussolini, ooh, to school, nice. Considered distancing himself from it, but then decided not to, and then decided to sort of acclaim it. And that was when dictatorship was firmly established in Italy at the time. But anyway, after fascism went out of fashion, people started naming places all over after Matteotti, including in Porto de Marmi. Also noticed in Porto de Marmi, like a Malta Street and a Corsica Street, when they're thinking of claiming those islands. This place. But everybody else does. So here I am in Siena, in the main square, and it's still the 30th of, no, not the 30th, the 21st of July 2011. Actually, yeah, so it's how many years? 6 years since the sort of false bombings in London, the sort of bombs that failed to go off on the tube. I was about to say metro. I remember that well. Anyway, so looking around here, it really is stunning. I mean, it took me almost 3 hours to get to Siena, and it was such an annoying journey, changing twice, being in a train that's absolutely jam-packed, and I couldn't get a seat. I was thinking, God, was it worth it? But when I come here, I thought, my God, it certainly is worth it. I was walking through some very narrow laneways. As you can see, the place is crawling with brothels, but I don't mind. I can see why they come. You know, and the people watching is as fun as looking at all these delightful buildings. So, one thing a lot of people know about Siena is it has Il Palio, which is a horse race around this square once a year, but some people disapprove and say, oh, it's dangerous for the horses or whatever. And Tony Blair watched it, and some animal rights people were up in arms about it. So, American tourists, German tourists, Dutch ones, British ones, I'm not sure which other nationalities there are. Plenty more, I'm sure. So it's fabulous, and it's not even that expensive. A coffee cost me €1. I thought, oh, they'll jack up the price because they can just rip off the Touristicos, but they didn't, in fact. So highly recommended. And there are all these narrow lanes, it's a pedestrian zone, and then I sort of saw a gap in one of these and came down over there, and that's why I came in here. I've never been to Siena before. After my cousin Olivia's wedding, I wasn't there, of course, in '99. They all went on a trip here to Siena. Well, it is fabulous, as you can see, and actually the clouds come in very welcome because it could be too boiling hot otherwise. Okay, right, check this out for tourist mayhem. And I've even seen signs saying please walk on the left on the streets. I don't know whether they say walk on the right, because you're on the right here on the continent. So this is another view from another angle, and there it is. And I'd forgotten about her, but there's St. Catherine of Siena, and I walked into the courtyard through there, and there was a little plaque on the wall about St. Catherine of Siena. Now, I think that's the cathedral, and there's a town hall right beside it, but that's only for authorised persons. And this flag, I suppose, is the flag of the city. They're seeing lots of other coats of arms up. Oh look, there are people up there climbing out here on the tower. Oh sorry, there. Gives you some idea of scale. But I'm not seeing anyone going right to the top. Well, it is fabulous. I've overheard Spanish people as well, Dutch people, whatever else. So I suppose we're, you know, at the end of July, we're really high season now. So, I was on the phone to Valeria Barada, my Carfax colleague in Moscow today. She's saying, there it is, Il Palio, the horse race around that square. Valeria was saying it's hottest in Italy in July. It'll cool down slightly in August, so more Russian tourists will come and have more people to tutor. Because today's a Thursday, I've got no one to tutor at the moment. Talking about all sorts of things. Like whether they'll keep me in Italy, happy for me to tutor, or they'll send me to tutor some Russian boy who's on holiday in France, or perhaps they'll offer me a full-time job in Moscow this September. 1st of July 2011. I'm still in Siena, further up the hill. Now, why did they put out so many flags? There was some sort of national day recently. I might think, yeah, like Italian National Day, perhaps, but I think it might have been like Republic Day because they abolished their monarchy in May. Sorry, in June 1947, if I remember rightly. Okay, but here we are in Cathedral Square. I got that wrong actually. The previous one must have been the town hall. This looks more like what we're looking for. See all the statues at the front, and in many places in Italy you will see one of these, even quite small villages. You know, Romulus and Remus being suckled by the she-wolf. SPQR, I'll often say, the Senate and the people of Rome. What else about them? Yeah, I mean, there are other theories that it's just a back formation, that she-wolf was a slang word for prostitute, but then in later centuries that was forgotten, and people thought they really were suckled by a she-wolf, although that can happen. They were, I think, sons of Rhea, who was a goddess, and she in turn was the daughter of Mars, the god of war, which is why they're so successful at war. So I'm assuming Siena was an independent city-state. I don't actually know. I know Florence was, for example. See, looking back in a way, I'm not so keen on the Italian reunification, being of a conservative turn of mind. But there doesn't seem to be much campaigning for break-up in the old city-states anymore. But I know there's La Lega Nord, and there's a Sicilian independence movement, but that's it. And I suspect most people didn't want change. I don't think that many were strongly attached to the system as it was before, but I think that's probably more than those who actually wanted change. Ah, some sort of school group. You get lots of them. Well, I don't think I've ever seen so many tourists in Italy. And I think in what recession? There are obviously plenty of people with cash to spend walking around here. Saint Mary of the Ladder. Wow. That's Santa Maria della Scala. And then all the gargoyles to scare away evil spirits. I bet that worked. And one of those courtyards of the house of some noble family, I saw, you know, a statue of Pope Julius III, who was a 16th century pope, and I'm presuming it was his family used to live there, because they were practically all elected from noble families in the old days. Oh, look, some people up in that archway over there. And as you can see, I was about to say there are no cars around. Well, there are hardly any cars around. It's basically a pedestrian zone. Okay. But anyway, we look at the place. So it's all built as one gigantic building. This whole complex of streets. So I've been a little bit off the beaten track to go round this way. About 500 meters to get back to the main street where the tourists are. So it's kind of like a maze, or a warren of these little lanes, like a casbah or something. And you see how it all forms just one huge building. And I haven't seen any Italian cities of this colour really, of this sort of beige red colour. A little more red or pink, but not this one. I suppose it's the local stone. And then what else was I going to say? So they're just like bricks like one finds in the British Isles. But somehow, I don't know, it's a lot more charming, different. It's kind of amazing to think people still live like this. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but I suppose it's very communal. They're also cheek by jowl. The one thing about Italy is I know the cars are very small and clean and quiet, but in these narrow streets it wouldn't be practical to ever have anything else. One thing about, it's for the old castle. Way of the old castle. Yeah, I'm astonished that this city is so limpid. You hardly see any litter. Look at that. Cities in the Britannic Isles are actually quite filthy by comparison to much of the continent. And yet another church. So I remember coming on a holiday to Italy when my parents was about 6, and I was extremely religious at the time, almost religiously obsessed. And eventually said to my dad, "Not another church." And he said, "Son, but I thought you were so religious." But it wasn't really a child's thing to do. And they're probably stunning, but I was much too young to appreciate it. But I do a lot of external tourism now because there's always a massive queue for the tickets to get into these things, and there's another queue to get into the actual attraction itself. Oh, look where they used to tie the horses up. And it costs loads as well. I mean, northern Italy is fairly expensive. I'd rather go to Sicily and Sardinia, probably Puglia. So I've been to Italy 7 times in my life, if memory serves me right. But I don't know, a couple more trips and that should be it for a few years. So I came in about 1981. You know, I had my second birthday here, and it was just after the Pope was shot. And I was here in 1986 or so, and then I was here in 2003, 2005, 2006, 2010, and now 2011. Is that 7 trips? So here we are in Siena. I knew someone from Siena called Benedetta Sani. Gioia. Look, it means joy. I was always thinking, will I run into her? My little Italian pupils I taught in all those summer schools, would I happen to bump into them? It's not that unlikely. They're mostly from northern Italy. But I mean, I don't think we'd recognise her still. 21st of July 2011. I'm thinking, has the year gone quickly? But no, a lot has happened in the first half of the year. I know I'm into the second half. Look at the pigeon. 10 days to Zara's birthday. Must send her something. Anyway, look at this house. Quite a stately house. We could easily miss it. Anyway, that's actually the synagogue. And noticeably they got no exterior symbols. I suppose they didn't want it to be too conspicuous, you know, because people dislike the Jews or they seem to be flaunting themselves or whatever. Anyway, if you look very carefully, it says the Israelite Society of Misericordia, which is loving kindness in Latin. So some sort of charitable society. I was reading this one down here. The victim of the anti-Jacobin reaction of hating anti-Hebrew hate. 30 Hebrew citizens were burnt on Campo, the field, that's the main square, on the 20th of June 1799 by fanatics of Viva Maria. And they devastated the old ghetto, and 200 years after the event this was put up. And then above, about the people who were deported, some of the 6 million who were deported And these people were deported from the Jews were deported from this city, and then they were killed. Their names are recorded here. I'm not doing a direct translation, but saying how they were sons of a doctrine of justice, of love, charity, and blessing. Okay. Oh, so blessed are their names that are recorded here, that's what it says. Well, look how tall it is. It's closed right now. So it's a big contrast to the magnificence of the cathedrals. I just thought, what is it like to be in a part of a minority religion where there's a state religion that's so opulent? Vienna. I'm looking at this notable church. I was just thinking how there's a Saint, there's a Mother of Teresa church actually, not Mother of Teresa Square, sorry, somewhere else in the city, but I don't think I'll bother going to see it. Anyway, I was looking at a map here on the wall of Siena, and it shows the different districts of the city. I don't know what else I should call them, and there are names like Eagle and Snail and Owl, you see, Dragon and all that. They've all got all these flags, and they compete in the centre. The centre is neutral, where the main square is Il Campo, meaning the field. And here are their flags, and they wave these, and they have huge bands going through the street, waving their flags, throwing them up and catching them, and people playing music and dancing in the street. What a spectacle it must be. I'd love to be here for that day of pageantry. Not sure what time of the year it is. Yeah, I saw a bloke, a Scots bloke, I'm pretty sure he's North British, judging by the saltire on the back of his flag, who was the saltire flag on the back of his bike. But he had all his bags on his bike, if you see what I mean, those sort of panniers, cycling up the lane. Didn't manage to film him, and here we are coming at Il Campo from another angle, and that's the big what's it called, fountain in the middle. And you might notice the way it's divided into about 7 segments, you know, like slices of pie, the square. You can only describe them that way. They almost see these triangles, and I wonder if there's one for each district of the city. So smoking is almost compulsory in Italy, and you know, when the diet is mostly carbohydrate, as in pasta and bread, I think, how do they stay so slim, particularly the ladies? I mean, some of the men are really fat. Maybe because they don't eat at all, because they have to smoke, and that deadens their appetite. But I thought, don't you realise it's going to ruin your teeth and dry out your skin and so on? See, now this is what I mean. You see there's one pie slice, there's a grey line, and the other grey lines, and they all come together here, carving into different slices of pie. I've seen a photo of it taken from up there, and you can see what I'm talking about. Taxis are horrendously expensive here in Siena, well, here in Italy. It was 14 euros to go from the railway station in Querceta to my house in Porto de Marmite. That's only about 2 kilometres. And I saw one of the taxis here advertising the new Oxford School of Siena, the language school. The British School of Pisa still doesn't reply to me. Oh no, it's one of those guys doing those stillness things. I bloody hate that. What a waste of time, you know? Why should anyone give him for money? I have a good mind to go and push him over. Check out this bank. Not your boring high street bank, hey? Anyway, there's Romulus and Remus, or probably just Romulus actually. I was reading that apparently his son founded Siena. It must be true. Hey, nice church. Kind of reminds me of the one that Olivia got married in Bologna, except I didn't get to go there. I've been to Bologna since, and she showed me which one. Anyway, this caught my eye. We still accept Italian lira. What? Why? What's the point? I mean, what can you do with them? Once you accept them, what could they get then exchange them for? I mean, that changeover was almost 10 years ago, I'm thinking now. But, you know, the euro on its 10th birthday hasn't got a lot to celebrate. Okay, so I was heading back towards the station. I took a little bit of a detour. And it's reminding me of Kathmandu somewhat, about the same colour brick and all the little laneways, and very touristy. But look at that for a view, hey? There's some dell in the middle, and then up to the cathedral. And so there's yet another church here. And I saw some pub called the Dublin Post. I didn't go into it, as I'm not one of those who goes all the way, you know, from Ireland to then go into the first Irish pub I see. Oh yeah, and look at this, the symbol for the Carabinieri carbiners, as in the name out to the sort of rifle. One of them helped me fix my bike yesterday. I thought it was good of him. I thought he might say, "Be gone," because that's not our job. But they're there to help the public in general. He did a good job, nice guy. Yeah, I really must get a new bike. I mean, the chain's coming off all the bloody time. It came off twice yesterday, once the day before. So that's one of the reasons I don't go cycling far, because I'm worried that I'll get 10 kilometers away and then it'll come off. One of my faults as a cameraman is changing angle too soon, because I know what I'm looking at. In fact, I've already looked at it before I chose to film it. And then, you know, the viewer is just getting used to seeing what they're seeing, saying, so what is this now? All right, I get the idea. But before they've had a chance to do that, then I switch. So often go around in a circle like that. Check this out. One of the plainer churches around. But as Richard Dawkins says, these things were incredibly wasteful because they took millions of man-years to build. As in, 1 million men working for 1 year would be a man-year. I mean, maybe not this one, not that much, but or 1 man working for 1 million years. Something like that. Okay. Well, I was thinking of turning off, but maybe I'll look down to this garden in between. You know, it's just a shame I had to go on a fairly long journey here, so didn't feel that energetic walking around. I mean, it was pretty energetic. I was right over a bit there by that tower and further on and so on. And there's some little garden down in the middle, it looks like. It was very distinctive, rather different to the Italian cities. And more attractive in some ways. I think I prefer it to Florence, actually. Yeah, Florence is a bit too busy with traffic. Tracy doesn't like Florence at all. She lived there with her Florentine boyfriend years ago for about a year, and she says it's much better living as a Florentine. You get to see the good places and you get to be where it's not crowded and you're not ripped off like the touristicos. But she loathes it as a tourist city. Oh look, a symbol of a cardinal. The red hat, although it was not actually red in the stone. Because like every medium-sized city's got an archbishop in Italy, and most of them were cardinals, and they elected the Pope, which is why they almost always pick one of themselves. So from about, let me see, 1520 to 1978, thereabouts, all of them were Italian, the Popes of Rome. Here I am in Siena, trying to get out of the place, though I really like it. Slightly more modern part of Siena. Don't know who this Bernard and Giuseppe plaque is about, but there's a more famous Giuseppe commemorated on this street. Here it says that Giuseppe Garibaldi, as in Joseph. Anyway, it's here that he planned his march on Rome in 1847. I think it wasn't 1848, maybe not. Calling the youth of Italy to make sure of it, whatever, despite the sacrifice. I remember in Uruguay seeing the house where he lived in Montevideo, and I had no idea until that moment that he'd ever lived in Uruguay. Via Garibaldi, right here. I'm not keen on him, a radical. He came from Nice, but of course they had to give Nice to France as part of the deal. I'm feeling they took it back in the Second World War, but it's just been with France for 150 years this year, I believe. Anyway, the main square where the buses were was called Gramsci Square, in honor of the communist theoretician who died in prison in the 1930s. Not of abuse. But anyway, I'm not too keen on communists, being the victim of a bus strike just now, which is why I'm having to walk to the railway station. Anyway, the bus conductor told me, well, it's only 2 kilometers and it's downhill all the way. So, you know, even a bit further out of the center, as you can see, it's a pretty city. Because a lot of Italian cities, like say Pisa and Florence, when you get a couple of kilometers from the center, they're just rather bland tower blocks. They're not one of the only things I've seen which needs repair here. A lot of buildings in other Italian cities are semi-dilapidated, even if they're still in use. Well, I think that's enough at the moment. Oh, the ubiquitous Italian scooter. I'll turn out of Siena that tourists don't normally bother to film. On the outskirts, you know, down the hill from the main city. So I suppose it's built for defensive reasons right up there. and just normal residential areas. But even then, you know, I'm quite taken by them. Wow, look at that mansion up on the hill. That's the Tuscany people always imagine. I mean, we're in the Chianti district almost. There's the railway station. And they're doing lots of work here. I don't know why. There's a massive black cloud. It was one of those days of steam. And so here are the flats that Italians typically live in. And it's up this hill to the city. Well, they go around there and up the hill. So to walk down, kind of that direction, the heart of the old city. So it's been a very enjoyable day in Siena, and I'll just do the last leg of it to the railway. Summer's day in Ireland. Except we're in Italy. So here we are, the 27th of July. It's a bloody outrage. You see? What a shame. This is not what you come to Italy for, hey. I can scarcely believe it. So it's just been drizzling all day. So soft. Look, I can't see a speck of blue. Appalling, it's so unfair. Even those insects don't like it. Ho-hum, here we are. Yeah, and she's parked her bike under there to keep it out of the wet. I have mine over here. I don't care if I get a wet bottom. Tracy's gone off to stay in a hotel because her parents are meant to be coming. Except her mum's passport's expired and they can't get the money for the hotel back yet. So Tracy's going to stay anyway. We have, who is with us? Joanne. She's going on Friday. Today's a Wednesday. And on Tuesday, Valeria's coming out from Moscow. Yeah, I bought this book in Pisa. It was actually rather boring. Child's grammar book. Uno cards with this and Daria. I haven't played those since I played in, you know, Laconia with Julian Greenhalgh and his parents' friends way back in 1996. Reading a bit of this picture of Dorian Gray. It's fabulous. Finished My Life by Bill Clinton in Italian. Hey Joanne, do you want to be in my home video?
Sorry?
Do you want to be in my home video?
Not YouTube?
I didn't think you would, okay. So I can't film Joanne, I can't afford to pay her enough to be on this film. I think I might have forgotten to film downstairs. Some other time when the spare room really is spare, then I could show you upstairs. But then if I film down here, not an especially interesting room. But there's this huge space around here. They come and clean it on a Tuesday. They charge us 20 quid for 2 hours and they do the gardening. We don't have to pay for the gardening, the husband and the wife come. Bloody huge. And that's just storage space. They could tell us the bedroom. Apparently it's only 7,000 euros for the whole of June, July and August. I thought they should have rented a tiny flat in Quercetan. And I would have been happy with that. I would rather that than just more money. Anyway, so they might ask me to go and work for them somewhere. There's a possibility to go to Moscow, but Joanne was dampening down expectations about that one. And then, what else? There were these, the girl and boy aged 3 and 5, Russians here, who I might be teaching, but we don't know whether that's going to come off. But Carfax might try and use me elsewhere. Why not send me back to Oxford? They got an office in the Ukraine, but released by another company called Quintessentially. That's a laboratorium. It's all supposed to be locked. But there's the prison gate, as it were. The washing machine and my stuff was ready to come out. I had not very much, but I was so bloody bored I put that in. You know, because I'm going to scarcely go to the beach like this. Wandering around town. I mean, Tracy was saying how I must be bored, and she's downright. I'd rather that than be stressed. Because Garby wanted me to film around this place. I'm almost out of battery. Because I haven't used this in ages. I like to think I've slimmed down in the past year, you know. Better than all those Italian patches. Anyway, and this Australia t-shirt, my parents bought it for me when we were in Australia. No one's actually asked me in Australia because I'm wearing it. So they even changed the sheets. She asked me whether she thought I should. Hey, what's the secret of my success? It is, you know, drinking loads of milk to fill myself up. Big bag. Got too many clothes. Garby gave me, these two are both red. Garby, she gave me too many, what are they called? T-shirts to come with. This bloke, Antonio, this artist, He's a friend, Barberi, of Tracy's. I've been into his house. We're in several of them. There's one in downtown Portimão. The whole thing is a work of art. Every door and wall is painted. He's rented out some Ruskies for the summer. He's about 70. He's got daughters and grandchildren. August 2011, so here I'm still in this house. Tracy's staying in the house, well not the house, the hotel her parents were going to be staying in because they didn't show up. Her mum's passport ran out. Hey, check out my pecs. Man, I can tell you've been working on my beach bod. Yeah, I've been swimming a lot. Swam about 800 meters today. That is pure muscle, I can tell you. Anyway, I should swim even more. I should swim twice a day. I swam twice yesterday. I go on the internet writing up my travels as much as I can. Oh good, I got my key, because if that door shuts, I'm locked. Out. Except I can open up again. Well, yeah, nothing to show you. Oh, I didn't really want to show those clothes on the line. Valeria Barada, Carfax's head of operations in Russia, is coming over. Which is head of development for Russia, but really that's the whole of Carfax. That's where it's growing, and maybe, you know, other post-Soviet countries. I wanted to film these shorts. I bought them 9 years ago in Sri Lanka for pennies. I mean, who says cheap stuff is cheap shit? These should be getting the long service medal. Cold escape. Well, I certainly have escaped the cold in them. Look where they got torn down there. Got them repaired. I used to use them for refereeing rugger at Oundle. There's a bit of a tear in the arse now. But, yeah. And they've kept me going for ages, but the elastic is coming loose in them, so they may have to go to the great big tailors in the sky soon. Hey, and that's that. This is locked. Garvey really wanted me to film. It was Zara's birthday yesterday. I called her mum's mobile on the house phone, but no joy. They're on holiday in Greece. So I wrote an email to Alex today, but it's that bloody email address she never checks, so I've got to find her work one. A postcard was sent to her. I spoke to the baby on the phone yesterday, and he appeared to be ignoring me, but once I stopped speaking, he was crying. He doesn't speak. He knows his name is Johnny Callahan. Bunica taught him to say his surname as well. His middle names would be a bit too much. He's the only Romanian Rupert. A light breeze around, gorgeous weather, that's when I'm going to the beach. When it's cloudy again, that's when I'll go to Lucca or the other one. What's it called? I've forgotten. Livorno. I spent about 10 euros a day. Good going. And that's what I'll have for dinner now, which will just be some hot dogs. I eat a hot dog soup, as in I actually eat the water first, fill myself up for minimal calories. Drink tons of milk. This is from the covered market, which is more expensive. €1.80 as opposed to $1.20 in Conad, the supermarket. But Conad, I always call it Gonad. Maybe I'll film around town again. Well, that's probably about enough. Cheery bye-bye. Maybe George the First.
Is it a George or is it a William?
I don't know. They done him in a sort of Caesar-like guise. Of August 2011. What are you looking at? Well, maybe the sound told you, but that was the sea. Here I am on the pier at Forti dei Marmi. I filmed it before, and this is where people embark and disembark from boats, but also people use it to dive in. I've dove in off there. I believe that is the past tense. Yeah, so I mean, I know people say dived, but you know, past perfect or whatever. Fucking hell, past participle. I'm meant to be an EFL teacher, I don't even know. And that's perfectly safe, although, you know, when I go in sort of feet first straight down, my feet do touch the bottom, just. And it's about 4 meters deep, I would guess. But, you know, I've seen children, teenagers, and some really young, like 8, jumping off from here. And not just this level, but actually at the top of this. I thought, bloody hell, that's like 5 meters down or something, and that's fucking dangerous. And of course, these boys are egging each other on to do more and more daring dives, backflips and so on. I felt like telling them to stop, but I thought, you know, I've got no authority over them. Then again, if somebody breaks their neck and is paralysed or indeed dies, I might feel guilty that I didn't do something to try and stop them. And I saw a policeman walk up here, but he saw them and he sort of said nothing. I mean, I know as soon as their back is turned, they would just carry on, but he would have supposed at least have covered his arse. There's no way in the United Kingdom this would be allowed. Now, I'm not a health and safety freak, but I thought that was a bit dangerous, you know. There were 2 American chicks here, both with lots of tattoos, and one of them was really nervous about diving in. And guys with their surfboards, when it's stormy, come right to the end here and they jump off with their surfboards, which kind of breaks their fall. I remember at school, you know, at my secondary school, being taught how to dive in. such that one doesn't sink too deep. And one thing I do is sort of step forward, so my feet are, you know, outstretched. My legs are kind of in an open scissors position. Put your arms out to the side, and that just creates more friction, kind of breaks the fall a bit, and one doesn't sink so deep. But as you go further along the pier towards the land, it gets shallower, obviously. And, you know, after about 100 metres, it's only about a metre deep. I was trying to come up with a formula for this. And then look, you can follow the coast. That's down towards Livorno. You can't see Livorno, it's beyond the curve there, beyond that headland. It's something like 50 kilometres away. Elba will be over there. Obviously you can't see it from this distance. Yeah, that's towards Massa. The Gothic line was up there. There's a little river and there's a marina if you just go up at 100 metres or something. And the Gothic line was the Axis defences here in about 1944, because, say, June 1944, the Allies took Rome and they carried on fighting up the up through Italy, and they got the Apennine Mountains. Obviously, only about 5 kilometres in there are the Apuanian Alps, which are very steep. And so there's a line of defence from here, from Forte dei Marmi to Rimini on the other coast. Anyway, but obviously the Allies got through that, and by the end of the war they got to Milan. But that's the thing, it took almost 2 years to get to Milan. Even after 2 years, still some of Italy was in Axis hands. And maybe you can see lights on these headlands here for Cinque Terre, and Genoa would be over there. You can't see it. In the daytime sometimes you can see the ship's masts and the cranes of La Spezia, which is up there, and that's a big naval base. I remember as a boy reading these books about the Second World War and seeing that on the map, a major Italian naval base of La Spezia. Oh my goodness, well certainly that poor woman with a turtleish face was a Down syndrome person, but maybe that man was as well. Oh well, they're happy enough. Anyway, you can see the lights on the hills in the background. I'd like to film it in the day. Anyway, things have gone wrong with the landlord, so I'm almost certainly leaving tomorrow. Where am I going? Well, Valeria's landing 10 o'clock tonight. Well, that's kind of just gone. I'm getting here by train, so I'm going to get there about midnight. But anyway, I'll have a talk to her tomorrow. Carfax want to use me again. Fabulous, full-time job. Will I go to Oxford? Looks like not Moscow. You know, they're considering to not Paris. I went in France briefly, the Côte d'Azur, to teach a little boy, but they've been talking about that for weeks and nothing's materialised. Because there's no work from here anyway. I was going to go back on the 26th of August, which is just over 3 weeks away. And what else? Gabi phoned me today. I had the Baba in the background. He knew it was Tati. He's saying car and stuff in English. But he misses me too much. It's sad. I mean, when everyone comes to the door, he thinks it's me. And any other possibilities? If they've got nothing for me at the moment, I could just go back to Romania. So I might even fly out there tomorrow night. I mean, I applied for a temporary job in Leicester, just 6 weeks teaching Chinese university students. It's very well paid though, so we're happy to do that. Be a chance to go to the UK. Leicester's a bit of a dump, but I wouldn't mind. They give me accommodation. They didn't say they had to pay for it, but even if I do, that'd be alright. But that's to start on the 4th, which is the day after tomorrow. Well, I'm not actually in the country, which is a bit of a downer, but if they just told me, like now, I'd get on the next plane. So that's that. Maybe film a bit in the centre of town. I always go onto this pier when I'm going to go swimming, and I get shaded there. You can see the sailing school on either side. Scuola on the beach this time at night. Makes me think of Newquay, not that I've been there. I don't get these bikes, you know. There I am, pedaling hard as I can. Some old granny comes along with one of these ones, cycling, but somehow got a motor. It's very quiet, an electric thing, and she just whizzes by me. Best of both worlds, but tempted to be lazy and not actually cycle. I like these little fountains. What is so charming about them? People chuck coins in there. Some minkers go and fish them out. These older boys, these Italians, they're always, you know, sitting around there playing cards, chatting all day long. You know, it's wonderful that they have a place to come, and it's good weather to be outside. A good social life for them. So the population is about 8,000 in winter and 24,000 in the summer. And I know all the people in the tourist office, the 4 girls, the 3 boys, because Italians say boy and girl unless you're properly old. I mean, today some man about my own age was talking about me, he called me a boy. Now, I don't object in the least, but in other parts of the world that would be considered odd, if not impolite. I mean, I know certainly feminists in English-speaking countries think using girl for anyone over 18 is degrading. Look at all the bicycles, a great way to get around, it's nice and flat. I bumped into my pupil Daniel in the covered market, you know, not long ago. Oh damn, it's gone yellow. So there's this cycle path all the way along and in the other direction. I wish I'd done more cycling. I worked out why my chain kept coming off because it's changing gear too fast. You know, main square on a Tuesday evening. Look, there's PC Paolo. Well, I don't actually know his name. I think it's Piazza Mazzini, after the radical revolutionary of the early 19th century. Well, he wants to unite Italy as well as having those views. You'd think radical revolutionaries are tautology, but you can kind of have conservative ones as well. Check this out. I like cabaret. I was wondering with the Romanian gypsies, first of all, but I don't think so. Look at those bloomers, that's a bit rude. He's a small guy, but bloody strong. Yeah, smoking is compulsory as are tattoos. This guy with this weird bike at the top hat, he's always going around at night. I don't know how people give money for it. And a square over that away, about 200 meters away, they have these little cars that children can ride around. They have tiny ponies. They're not Shetlands, but they're that size that you can be led around on. You can go on a sort of pony and trap around the square, and it's fantastic. So that Libyan conflict is rumbling along. Look at this artwork. I've been in there. I was friends with all the people in the tourist office. They used to use the loo, but then somebody objected to it today. I was their mate. They used to call me a colleague, put me on a computer behind the desk so I wouldn't get kicked off the one for public use. Oh, and this is a sort of restaurant I go to all the time. I mean, maybe restaurant's not quite the right word, but yeah, this is it right here. They know me very well, Giorgio. But they were asking if I was Olandese because I said Irlandese, and they got mixed up. So I'm not Dutch. Il Giardino. This one I've been there a bit. Not sure what else to show you that I haven't shown already. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Okay, where are you? Where are we?
We are in Italy.
I see.
What's the place called?
This is called, I don't even remember, part of Cinque Terre.
It's a part of Cinque Terre.
We're a place of outstanding natural beauty.
And we are in Byron Bay.
Yes, there's a hotel, Byron, around here.
Hotel Byron.
And there's a little beach down here. We were at the next one, around the headland. It's not easy to see from this angle.
Show our beach.
But these coves are, you know,
Show the
very
hotel we're
sheltered.
sitting on.
It's very calm, the water's very clear. Well, I mean, I don't want to walk all the way back down there. This cafe, I like it, like the little old man working there, but it's a real rip-off. €4 for a tiny sandwich. Are we going up this place? Oh, sorry, not allowed to film Tracy.
We are going to go to... What's the place called again?
Up the stairs.
Telaro.
Okay,
Yes.
Are we walking up these red stairs? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
But anyway,
red stairs.
I was just thinking this is perhaps the most picturesque place I've been, well, in northern Italy. Amalfi was stunning, but perhaps been the most memorable day. It was about an hour's drive from Forte, but it was easy to get lost on the way. You know, all these motorway
I was
exits.
driving.
Yes, fabulous. You're the navigator.
No, Tracy was the navigator.
Okay.
I was the pilot, she was the... What do you call the one who's...
Co-pilot?
No, the one with the map.
Well, that is the navigator, your pathfinder or something like that, I don't know. Okay, I'll switch it off.
You were...
Snoozing.
No.
The passenger.
You were...
The ballast.
No. You were, not safety, what do you call it?
I don't know. Okay, Valeria, how are you?
I'm great.
Fabulous.
Good lunch.
Yeah, I had a great lunch too. It's the 6th of August, 2011. Thanks for lunch, Carfax.
Lerici.
Oh, we're at Lerici, yes. Here in
Lerici.
Lerici, here in Italy.
Yes.
This is called the Gulf of Poets. Byron used to come here. There's Byron Way, there's a street over there, Hotel Byron and so on. Okay, come on, do your Venus in reverse.
Look how I dive.
Okay, sure. Remerge into the sea. So anyway, I swam right round to that headline there, around to the next bay. I wasn't sure if I'd get too tired. Well, she's still underwater. And I thought, there she is up again. And I thought if I get tired, I'll hang on to the rocks. Wow, she's a great swimmer. From Kamchatka in the Russian Far East. It's peninsula in Siberia. And look, people go right up to here. She was sunbathing there earlier. Guys with the boats diving off. So I went round this headline to the next beach on this little rocky island. She lent me her goggles. It was really fun. She's got quite proud of the beach here. It's about 5 in the evening. Fraser's beside me, I think, asleep. So fabulous, absolutely gorgeous place. Probably one of my best days of the year. It's one of the most stunning places, and you know, the town is just so pretty. It's very picturesque around here. There's the smell of all these olive orchards, these evergreen trees. There's this croaking of crickets in the background. Started from noon, say. So we're in the Mediterranean Sea. Look at Muscle Man over here, a bit narcissistic. Is it faintly homoerotic? How much is that, you know, pumping iron? How much is that steroids? His head isn't big enough for his body. Okay, I'll switch it off now.
The River Avon heading out towards Avonmouth.
I see. Ah, so the sea is that away.
See's that away.
Oh right, so God, ships really can't sail from Bristol out to the sea anymore.
No, they can't.
Why is the water level so low now?
I don't know. I've never seen it tide high.
In a single span, it crosses the mighty Avon. Well, the Avon's flood is not much of a flood today. How stunning. It is such an utterly beautiful day. Look at that. No cloud around. Well, actually there is some that way, but still.
There's one or two wispy clouds.
Yeah, and oh, there's a railway line, but I can't see it now. There was a railway line below us. Oh, it's there in the trees, yeah. You can see it now. It's difficult to see on the screen now because it's so bright. It doesn't matter anyway. Nobody walking down. Привет!
Привет.
Right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
9-10.
9-10.
Good? Yeah.
Как дела?
Все? What about лопата?
Well, I need one to dig up the garden here. Like Tovarish Stepanov needed one for his grave. She cupcakes NY. So Valeria, where are you going?
I'm going, yes.
Please don't go.
But I have to.
We're crying.
Are you?
You're going to London in time to take part in those riots because that bloke Duggan, that gangster, was shot dead, and it's a good time to go and liberate yourself a computer from the local Argos, you know, if you're in Tottenham, or indeed Brixton, or even Ealing, or a few other cities like Leeds. I used to live in Ealing, and it was a very pleasant bourgeois suburb. Very safe. Pimlico, well, that's quite pleasant. I mean, they're kind of working class areas of Pimlico, but very pleasant one. Who get killed?
That agent.
Which agent?
I told you.
Litvinenko.
No, another one. The British one.
A British guy. When did he get killed?
It was, I think, this year.
Oh yeah, he died in his flat suddenly.
Died
But
in his flat, yes.
but didn't some people think it's an accident or just?
No, I think he was killed.
But I thought it was a bit of a mystery that it could be natural causes or something. Sorry, I would have helped you with my bag, but I had my hands full. Oh shit.
Here and then just, stay for the weekend. I may get the car again.
Yeah, get the car, but she cannot drive.
Oh, well, I'll drive.
Yeah, so.
We can practice.
It's the 9th of August today, I think. Yeah.
9th of August, yes.
2011 all day actually.
Yeah.
I was reading My American Journey by Colin Powell.
Sorry?
The book I was reading is My American Journey by Colin Powell.
My Italian journey.
You
I
know,
believe it's the 9th of August.
It is the 9th.
shocker, all day.
9th of June, just.
I know, a couple of minutes ago.
It's like Billy Connolly said, these days my life goes like this. Should all acquaintance be happy birthday to you? We wish you a Merry Christmas. And that's the hero. Goodness. You're flying to Gatwick. We used to call it Grotwick for that area.
Rockwick.
Grotwick.
Grot-
And, it's the 13th of August 2011 and my tape is about to run out. It's an absolutely gorgeous walled city. bigger than I thought. About 60,000 people live within the walls. I have a long walk around. Remember other walled cities I walked around, Dubrovnik, Jerusalem, York. Anyway, as you can see, it's a splendid day. It's a Saturday afternoon, coming to the end of siesta. That's why a lot of things are still shut up. But it's one of my favourite cities, actually. I prefer it to Florence. It's not as big or spectacular, but it's certainly not as crowded. Look, all these bicycles to hire for the tourists. I was chatting to a Pakistani bloke called Ali who was running a kebab shop. I dined at his establishment. Look at this sort of car bicycle. So there's this pleasing breeze. We're quite far in from the sea though. I'm not sure where it's coming from. You can see the Appuanian Alps in the background. So I bought a book, Empire by Niall Ferguson. I mean, I've already read a bit of it somewhere else. So I haven't been into anything just yet. I suppose it must be the cathedral. So, still the 13th of August 2011, and here I am still in Lucca. Just a slightly different angle, a different view, one of the main squares. So this is I'm on the gatehouse, as it were. The traffic goes underneath me. I saw this monument of these two youths who fell with their arms in their hands in 1944 against they gave their blood, they poured their young blood out, trying to fight against the ferocious Nazi-fascist enemies. Okay, it's got the communist symbol below. So presumably they're partisans. It's when fascist government was still surviving in northern Italy with support from the Wehrmacht, and there were partisans fighting against them, and the partisans were mostly communists. So these battlements are very impressive. I mean, look, you could drive a coach and four along them. And then there's this sort of moat thing, but the city obviously overspilled its bounds. I met the Pakistani chap down there. So I was looking for a second-hand English bookshop, but I can't find one actually. You can see how gorgeous is how individual the houses are. I mean, I know they're roughly the same style, but all slightly different shades. Ancient fortress town of Lucca, with its splendid buildings. And I just had to film this, looking over these delightful gardens. Here we are at the height of summer, and doing what my dad always encouraged me to do when I was little, walking along the ramparts. But I'm a bit worried because it looks a long way down, like 10 meters or something. Oh look, it's a doggy. What do you call that breed again? It's like Amber was. Amber from Pamber Heath, who is no more. That was Charlie's dog a few years ago.